On today's show, your LA Clippers are playoff bound. Gonna be talking about it all on today's Locked On Clippers.
You are Locked On Clippers, your daily Los Angeles Clippers podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day.
Yes, sir. You were locking in with the Clips. Thank you for making Locked On Clippers the first listen of your day, your team every day. I'm your host, Darian Vaziri, born and raised in LA, been a Clipper fan for 20 years, been covering the team for 5 years on my own YouTube channel, Dime Dropper, and Locked On Clippers for 3 years right here on the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. We also have a newsletter. You can find it at lockedondaily.com. It's written by yours truly. That's lockedondaily.com, and starting your day with the all-new free Locked On Clippers newsletter. And this episode is brought to you by FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook. Head on over to FanDuel.com and claim your $250 in bonus bets today and start betting on the playoffs, because damn, I told everybody, not before the season, but recently, that we'd be in them. But man, what a season it's been. We're going to be reacting to this. Clippers, Nuggets, first round. I mean, oh my goodness. What a day. What a game. The whole league was watching. The whole league wasn't just watching it, they were enjoying it. They were truly enjoying it. You had Laker fans rooting for us too. I mean, it was a whole spectacle. But we ended up beating the Golden State Warriors in an overtime thriller led by our big three, 124-119 in front of a national audience, to close the season with 8 consecutive wins and 18 in the last 21. Where do I really begin? I mean, what a result. We did it. We got the 5 seed. And I'm going to be the first to admit that I was wrong. I never thought, if you had told me Kawhi Leonard's going to finish the season playing 36 games, that we were going to get 50 wins. I would have said you're insane. It's a testament to James Harden and his availability. I mean, 78 games played for James Harden this season. Wasn't it 79? I'm pretty sure it's 79. But man, it's really been an amazing campaign for James, for the Clippers, for everybody. And this Clipper team, I think, will be remembered very fondly regardless of what happens next. But what a season. And James Harden, I'm almost positive he played 79 games. I think they just hadn't updated the ESPN stats. So I'm going to go to NBA.com because ESPN wants to be whack and not update him, even though the game ended a bunch of hours ago. But anyway, James Harden was amazing. And then Norman Powell, that first half of the season before Kawhi Leonard returned, we needed him to be great, but we didn't think he would be that great. At least I didn't think he'd be that great. Played at nearly an all-star level before Kawhi came back. And then Zoo was awesome all year long with the way our coaching staff ended up trusting him more. And what you ended up seeing in the end was the best version, or is the best version, of Ivica Zubac right now. I mean, the guy is playing at such a high level, it's kind of hard to even describe. But yes, James Harden did end the season playing 79 games. He has ended the season averaging 23 points to go along with 9 assists per game and 6 rebounds. So 23, 6, and 9 for James Harden in year 16. An incredible campaign. Then Ivica Zubac has ended his season averaging 16.8 points per game and 11.8 rebounds. So 17 and 12. He literally averaged 17 and 12 on 63% shooting this year. I mean, 50 wins is beyond anything I could have imagined. I will take my L. This Clipper team has overachieved, and I think a lot of it was Norman Powell in the first half of the season, and then Zoo and Harden being so great. Which I think the Harden thing, I expected him. If you had told me Kawhi's going to miss over half the season, can Harden average 23, 6, and 9 on 41-35 splits? I would have said, let's see, 41, 35, 87 splits. I would have said he absolutely could do that. But is he going to play 79 games and do it and the Clippers going to win? I would not have said that. So James Harden should be all NBA. I think 50 wins, that's a lock for me. If he's not an all NBA, that'd be a big mistake on the NBA's part or on the voters. I think if it's Zubac has a case for it. But Kawhi Leonard, the way he's come at and made this team look like a championship contender going into this postseason. I mean, that's what we really needed. We needed Kawhi to come back, be that guy, and he has been that guy, and he was in this game. So, I mean, and the last thing I want to say before I get into this game is, because, I don't know, the reason why I'm starting with just reacting to the 50 wins is because this game was amazing, and I'm going to talk about it because it was such a great game, but this game was bigger than just this game. It's about our season. And the fact that we ended with 50 wins, 5 seed. If you want to go back and check this channel, remember that because FanDuel had us in the bottom 5 odds to win the West, or they had us ranked in the bottom 5 in the West, I was on the 3rd tier of previews for Locked On for the Western Conference. I was like in the bottom feeders. Are they tanking or not type of deal. Like, what? And I said even then, even though I wasn't like the highest on our team, I was like, we're going to be better than you think. And that was when with Kawhi Leonard, I didn't think we would ever be as good as we were without Kawhi. But that's been the key. That was really the key, is to be as good as we were without Kawhi for so long and then give him the chance to ramp up and then hit stride towards the end of the season. I cannot remember a season, even during Lob City when we ended the season, I think either 2013-14 or 14-15 on a 7-game winning streak. Nothing quite like this, where we're 18-3 in the last 21 games. It all started with that 50-point night from James Harden against the Pistons that I was at. I mean, that was an incredible performance that kind of turned the tide back in our direction, and that's where you really began to see Kawhi Leonard turn up. But Chris Dunn, Derrick Jones Jr., Nicholas Batum, these guys have been incredible additions. Bogdanovich as well. But I really want to give a special shout out to Derrick Jones Jr. and Chris Dunn. Our defense has been the highlight of this season in terms of as a team. And we have been one of the best defensive teams in the NBA all season long. And I have to say that, I mean, that has really been the theme of this season for me, or this team, is our defense. Our defense keeps us in games. We finished 3rd in the league in defensive rating. Our defense always gave our offense a chance. And this game was a little different. So coming up, when we're talking about this incredible game, but the moral of the story, Clipper Nation, is what a successful regular season this is. The 7th 50-plus win season in Clipper history. 2012-13 was the first. 2013-14, 2014-15, 15-16, 16-17. So 5 straight years of Lob City, and then these last 2 seasons. 50-plus wins. Enjoy it. Milk it in. For all the people that say we're going to be 12th or 13th seed, we are the 5 seed. No play-in game. And you know what that means? Kawhi Leonard has officially ended Game 82 fully healthy. Coming up, going to be talking more about the Big 3 and how this game was won. I got to tell you a little something about Prize Picks. Prize Picks is the best daily fantasy sports entry app around. And with the NBA and NHL playoffs heating up, there's no better way to turn your sports knowledge into real rewards than with Prize Picks, the easiest and most exciting way to play daily fantasy. With Prize Picks, you simply pick more or less on at least 2 player projections and you're in. You can even combine players across sports, basketball, hockey, baseball, and more for your chance to win up to 2,000 times your cash. What I love is how easy it is to set up your lineup in under 60 seconds. PrizePicks even runs cool promos like Taco Tuesday, where they discount player projections up to 25% for even more value, and payouts are fast, safe, and secure. Download the app today and use code LOCKEDONNBA to get $50 instantly after you play your first $5 lineup. That's code LOCKEDONNBA to get $50 instantly after you play your first $5 lineup. Prize Picks, run your game. I got to tell you a little something about Wayfair. Spring is here, and that means it's home project season. Whether you're refreshing a room or tackling a full renovation, Wayfair is the best kept secret for all things home improvement. From small updates like stylish cabinet hardware to major upgrades like new vanities. And right now I'm going through it. We're just moved into the apartment, so I'm, getting my room fixed up. And Wayfair has been a great source for me. Shopping was seamless, and I found exactly what I needed to fit my space and style. Wayfair makes home improvement easy. Get started now at wayfair.com. That's WAYFAIR.com. Wayfair, every style, every home. All right, so the Clippers playing against the Golden State Warriors in the do or die game that everybody was watching. The winner makes the playoffs, the loser is the 7th seed. And you just felt that maybe we were due for a bad game. Well, both teams shot pretty lights out in this one. The Warriors shot 54% from the field and 45.5% from three, and we shot 56% from the field and 47% from three. So we shot slightly better than them in those two categories. They shot slightly better than us from the free throw line. They shot 78%. We shot 78%. No, they shot 78.3%. We shot 77.8%. So down to the decimal, less than 1% difference in the free throw percentage. So both teams shot really well, and that's reflected by the high scores of the game, 124 to 119. But we didn't start out really well. It was a bad ending to the first quarter, quite frankly. And it was because we were turning the ball over, and Bogey was getting really attacked by Jimmy Butler early on in pick and roll. Like, they were just hunting him, and he couldn't guard without fouling. So after a really solid first quarter by Kawhi, by Harden, and by Zoo, when Zoo came out of the game, we were winning 24-22, and by the time he came back in, we were getting beaten up. We were down 33-25 after the first quarter, after we had a pretty decent first quarter, but we ended it really poorly. And then the second quarter was kind of the opposite, where we ended the quarter well, and it was capped off by James Harden's three, then Steph Curry's three, and then Norman Powell's heave to beat the first half buzzer. And I actually didn't think this was a great Norman Powell game, but he made some big shots late. His defense, though, off and on ball, wasn't very good, and we didn't get much from our bench. Bogey was, struggling defensively to guard without fouling. He had 5 fouls, which was as many fouls as he had points. Only 5 points on 2 for 7 shooting and 1 for 4 from 3. So again, my theory, starting to look like it's not going to be a thing, because Bogey, it was a thing for a while where every time Bogey played well, we won, and every time he didn't, we lost. But I think you're starting to see that the rotation's starting to shrink. The starter's going to get more minutes. You're going to see guys like Chris Dunn and Derrick Jones Jr. really get more minutes, and also Nico Batum, who I don't think it's anything too serious because he's tweeting positively, and he missed this game with a groin injury. But you had people in the crowd at the watch party, which was a blast, by the way. And if you want to check out what fans were saying and how the watch party was, a video is already out on my Dime Dropper channel talking about the matchup against Denver and how fans are feeling. But it was really awesome to be surrounded by Clipper fans, and I would really encourage those of you that are local to try to make it out to one of those viewing parties during the playoffs, because I'm sure there'll be one. But we were talking, and most people just were like, man, we need Nico. And it's because of that small ball lineup. When we take Zubac out, it's very clear that Ty Lue is not trying to play Drew Eubanks in the playoffs. Against high-level comp, he's not trying to play Eubanks. Amir Coffey came back and only played 4 minutes and didn't really give us much. He was a minus 13 in 4 minutes. And it's because that small ball lineup, the Ben Simmons, Bogey, Amir, and I think it was Derek and then Kawhi, it's really dependent on Kawhi or Bogey creating shots one-on-one. And if they're not doing a great job creating shots one-on-one, then our entire offense is stagnant. We don't have a rim protector on the other end. We don't have a good rebounder, and we need Ben Simmons, Batum, and Kawhi if we want to run that lineup. Not only does Nico give us that spacing aspect with his three-point shooting, he's a fantastic defender, and he offers size and length. So when you have Ben Simmons, Nico, and Kawhi out there, it's, very imposing. You got length, you got guys that can shoot the gap and get deflections left and right. but you also have the spacing with Ben Simmons and Kawhi Leonard with Nico. So we definitely need Nico. So that was rough. The non-Zoo minutes were tough, but Zoo played big minutes, 42 for him. Kawhi Leonard, 47. James Harden, 48. Remember, this game went to overtime, so it's out of a possible 53. We outscored the Warriors 35-25 in the second. And then for the rest of the game, it was just neck and neck, just completely neck and neck. Steph Curry did some amazing Steph Curry things in the second half, particularly in the fourth quarter with, I think it was 15 points in the fourth. I mean, you cannot lose sight of the guy for a second. This guy relocates like there's no tomorrow. And I mean, there was one time late in the game, I think we were up by 3, 100-103. And Chris Dunn, after Steph Curry had given up the ball, just lost sight of him for a half a second. And the guy comes off a screen and is wide open for a left corner three and ties the game. And I was just like, man, you just cannot sleep with that guy. You know what I'm saying? You can't sleep when you're guarding that guy. But the way we consistently made plays late in the game, James Harden getting downhill, finding Ivica Zubac, and then our double teaming of Steph Curry. When we were blitzing him, when we threw multiple bodies at him, we did a good job of exposing one of Steph Curry's, if not his biggest basketball weakness, which is he's a very reckless passer. Turnover, when he sees pressure, he throws very reckless passes. And he's not like tall, so he can't really, for an NBA player, he can't see over the defense. So he kind of throws these like one-handed hook passes, and they always get deflected. And we just did a great job crowding him, and we've got a lot of length and size. Chris Dunn, I thought, was just spectacular. And speaking of Chris Dunn, when they started throwing two at James Harden, and they didn't want to switch Steph onto Harden or Kawhi, that would put Chris Dunn in that short role. And I thought he did a great job of looking at the basket, which Ben Simmons was not doing, and it was hurting us. But Chris Dunn did a great job of looking at the basket, taking that floater when it was there, and throwing lobs to Zoo. There was a beautiful lob to Zoo late in the game that he dunked down. And, I mean, how good was Zoo again? Cleaning up things on the offensive glass, 4 offensive rebounds for him, 17 total. The amount of shots that he raced at the rim, I mean, it's hard to describe his impact right now. And then, of course, he is a matchup problem for them. We didn't see as many blatant Zubac post-ups. We honestly should have had more. There were times where Jimmy Butler would be guarding him, and I thought we should have fed him. But, I mean, it was just an overall masterclass from our big three. And James Harden in overtime, his 2 threes to begin, and I believe he had 12 points in the overtime session. But the 2 threes to begin it, that was when I felt we won the game, when he made those. So, and not only that, he was able to get downhill on guys like Gary Payton Jr., who's a very good defender, Brandon Pajimski, all game long. And Harden's burst since that 50-point game against the Pistons, it's almost like he's found this second wind. And, I mean, if I had to go back and check the tape, how much better was he really moving in the 2023 playoffs with the Philadelphia 76ers? Couldn't be much better than this right now, right? Is he even possibly moving better right now? Because for me, it's really hard. You can go with either of those 3 as player of the game. By the way, how about that Derrick Jones Jr. dunk? Oh my God, that was his only bucket of the game. Let me just read the lines of the bench real quick, because we literally only got 8 points off our bench. They only got 16. So they actually ended up getting double R's, but very strange decision. Jonathan Kuminga, DNP coach's decision by Steve Kerr. That's rare, because when we played them at Intuit, when I believe they had a couple guys injured early on in the season, that was pre-Butler trade as well, Kuminga was the guy that was like the focal point of their whole offense. So there's clearly something about Kuminga's game in terms of IQ, maybe this lack of shooting, the style, that Steve Kerr doesn't trust him. And did it come back to bite them? And you can listen to Locked On Warriors to find out that answer. But I'll tell you this, as far as our bench, Amir played only 4 minutes and he had a donut. I can't lie, I don't know how comfortable I am with Amir playing more than like 5 or 6 minutes per game in the playoffs. That's a conversation for the Tuesday show, though, because we're gonna have everything Clippers Nuggets covered by Saturday for the opening game. I mean, it's gonna be a full week of coverage. We're gonna be celebrating the team's regular season, the Clippers' regular season, talking about that, talking about how guys perform, but playoffs, I mean, that's what it's all about. So Amir Coffey, that's one thing I got to say about him. Ben Simmons, speaking of the same kind of situation, I don't know how many minutes we can play him. 11, but against Jokic, I mean, that small ball is going to be needed at times. But again, we'll reserve that for later in the week. 0 points for Ben, 2 rebounds, 1 assist, 1 turnover. Didn't even shoot, and it was a problem. He needs to shoot. If he's not looking at the basket, he's going to be a liability. And that's not a new thing with Ben. That is what's always been the case with him. Derrick Jones Jr. Actually, let's go with Bogey next. 16 minutes played. He had 5 points, 1 rebound, 1 steal, 5 fouls on 2 for 7 shooting and 1 for 4 from 3. I was talking to some fans, and seems like general consensus is we cannot switch Bogey on everybody. You know what I'm saying? We need to only, we have to keep him on guys that are non-threats. So maybe just show and recover with Bogey. I mean, I don't want to see Bogey guarding Jamal Murray, getting him hot in the playoffs. They're going to try to attack Bogey with Westbrook as well, I would assume. Derrick Jones Jr., 3 points, 5 rebounds, 1 assist on 1 for 3 shooting. Missed his only 3 and was 1 for 2 from the foul line. And then our starters. Chris Dunn was phenomenal. 11 points, 1 rebound, 6 assists. A lot of those in the short roll. 3 steals, 1 turnover on a perfect 4 for 4 from the field and 3 for 3 from deep. Norman Powell played 44 minutes, and honestly, it may have been a little much, but he still made some big shots. 11 points, 2 rebounds, 1 steal, 2 turnovers on 4 for 13 shooting, 1 for 6 from 3, and made both his free throws. I mean, we definitely need to see better shooting from Norm if we want to beat the Nuggets. And then the big 3. It's not really a big 4 right now. It's a big 3, but I still believe in Norm. He still averaged 22 points a game this season, but Zoo played 42 minutes, and it was another incredible double-double. 22 points, 17 rebounds, 3 assists, 1 steal, 1 block, no turnovers on 11 for 16 shooting. I mean, it doesn't matter if it's that little baseline push shot or the push shot in the middle of the key, or the jump hook with the right hand on the left block, or turning over that right shoulder for the left-hand jump hook on that left block. I mean, or a putback or a lob. This guy is scoring in bunches in different ways. And I mean, it is mostly around the basket, but man, how good is his touch around the basket? It's freaky how good his touch around the basket has become. What a performance. What a season for Big Zoo. I mean, this guy is my favorite player on the team. He is so loved by Clipper fans right now. And I mean, for great reason. Big freaking Zoo. I mean, come on. Does it get much better than the season that he had? And then James Harden. 39 points. I'm going to go with him as my player of the game because of the way he played in overtime. 39 points, 7 rebounds, 10 assists, 2 steals, 2 blocks, 6 turnovers on 13 for 23 shooting, 5 for 8 from 3, 8 for 9 from the foul line in 48 minutes. Just a masterclass. And then Kawhi Leonard, 33 points, 6 boards, 7 assists, 3 steals. Did turn the ball over 5 times. So 11 turnovers between Harden and Kawhi. Definitely got to keep that number down. But an insane 13 for 20 from the field for Kawhi. 65% and 50% from 3. 4 for 8. Only thing was 3 for 5 from the foul line. But what a performance by the Big 3 to take us home. And now we look forward to a series against the Nuggets. We're going to be talking about my initial reaction to the matchup coming up. I got to tell you a little something about FanDuel. The NBA playoffs are here, and FanDuel is giving new customers an incredible way to get in on the action. Right now, when you join FanDuel and place your first $5 bet, you'll get $250 in bonus bets if your first bet wins. I love how FanDuel makes betting so easy, whether it's picking my favorite team or diving into player props. And the last time I talked to you about FanDuel, the Clippers were 8th in highest odds to win the championship. Now we're 9th behind the Minnesota Timberwolves. I'm not sure why. I'm not sure why the Golden State Warriors have such higher odds than us, but whatever. I'd say we're, plus 4,300. Why not us? Why not us? Head on over to FanDuel to bet on the Clippers. FanDuel.com and claim your $250 in bonus bets today. Clippers getting the big win, 124 to 119 over the Golden State Warriors at Chase Center to end the season 50 and 32, 20 and 21 on the road, 30 and 11 at Intuit Dome. Our first season at Intuit Dome, and I mean, a season in which we overachieved, in which fans didn't expect much at all going into the season. And it always feels like that. It's those seasons where we don't expect, where we don't treat every game like it's championship or bust. Well, and I don't know. I was gonna say where we don't treat the season like championship or bust, but I feel like Clipper fans have high expectations for this team right now after the way we've played all season. But going into it, we never expected anything close to a title. I think most Clipper fans are still not expecting a title. We just think we can make a run, and then maybe we'll start believing. But wow, it's been special, and for it to be the first season at Intuit Dome with such great vibes, with such high spirits, and a team ultimately that only took maybe 2 or 3 games in the entire 82 game schedule where it was like they didn't show up to play. And one of them was during the Fires, a game that should not have even happened. We had a level of we're going to go out and compete every single night that I don't think we've had since 2019. And that team was one of the most beloved in Clipper history. And this team, there were some fans in my vlogs before the season saying that I think this could be a team like that, given the Jeff Van Gundy and the Chris Dunns and Derrick Jones Jr. coming in, making us a defensive, gritty team. And that's exactly what we were. And as a result, we have gotten the 5 seed, and we will be playing against the Denver Nuggets. Well, I did say a couple of episodes ago when they fired Mike Malone, honestly, right before they fired Mike Malone, give us Denver. Let's go. Bring it on. We're ready for them. We're ready for 3-1 payback. We have great guys to throw on Jamal Murray. We have the best guy to throw on Jokic in Zoo. We can make, hopefully, Jokic work defensively with Harden putting him in the action and pick and roll, and Zubac making him guard one-on-one. They have a lot of non-shooters, so it's going to be hard to score against our really good defense. Aaron Gordon is a good guy to guard Kawhi Leonard. But I think we're deeper than them. I think we're playing better basketball than them. They have a coaching change, and they did end the season decently after the coaching change. But, like, how many of those games were really serious? When stuff hits the fan and they're facing adversity in this series, because they're going to at some point. It's not going to be a sweep. I don't think either team will win in 5. I think it's going to be at least 6 or 7 games. If it goes 7, that obviously does not bode well for us, given that you don't want to play a game 7 on the road, and the percentage of teams that play game 7 on the road, game 7 at home, winning is very large, as we know, as a team that won a game 7 at home against the Golden State Warriors and the San Antonio Spurs in back-to-back years, and against the Dallas Mavericks just a couple seasons ago. You want that game 7 at home. However, the Denver Nuggets did lose a game 7 at home to the Wolves last year, but it was such a shock. So for me, it's got to be Clips in 6. I think we got to defend Intuit Dome. It's been a 30-11. That's the record of the first season here at Intuit. And we need to defend home court, the wall, the swell they have to carry, and it's not just about the wall, honestly. It's about everybody else. We so often now, and we used to do this with I used to say this about the lower bowl at Clipper games, but it can't just be the lower bowl. Everybody in the terrace, everybody in the main sections that aren't the wall, they need to be loud too. We need this to be a complete team effort of all Clipper fans. And look, I have not heard a Clipper fan base as excited for a postseason since maybe 2014 or 13. Like, it's been that long since I feel like we've been this excited. I really, truly believe that. Because the bubble was not, it's not the same when you get to go to the games. We're all excited to attend these games. So in terms of Denver, look, it's never easy when you're playing against the best player in the world. Averaging a triple-double at the center spot is absurd. I have the utmost amount of respect for Jokic and Murray and what the Denver Nuggets have accomplished to get their first title in franchise history. 2 years ago, I am a little bit envious of them. They have 2 homegrown stars that won a title, and they've seen a guy blossom that they drafted during a Taco Bell commercial become one of the greatest players that ever has lived. But I feel as though our matchup against them is good. We're going into the playoffs with momentum. We're a deeper team. I think a lot of this series is going to be decided. I mean, Jokic will likely be the best player in this series. But if we have 2 and 3, And honestly, if we have 3 of the best 5 players in this series, potentially 4 out of the best 6, depending on how well Norman Powell can make shots, we got a strong chance to win it. 3 out of the top 5. I mean, Zubac, this is a true test for Zoo. If he can contain Jokic just a little bit, make life tough for him, be the amazing player that he's been all season long, I mean, what will this do for his reputation? To knock Jokic out. Because this affects next year's voting and the way you're viewed going into the following season, what you do in the playoffs. It increases your stock. It adds expectations. So, and you know who the biggest key in this series is going to be? I mean, we need Kawhi Leonard to average 25 plus. That goes without saying. 25 plus. It has to be. There's no other alternative. There's no way I think we win if he doesn't average that. At least 25. We might even need 30. But this is a series for James Harden, honestly, to show that, I mean, it's not like he hasn't shown that he can't win first round series. Last year was his first round loss since 2016. But he needs to show that he can dominate this team, that he can still be a huge impact in a series for a winning team against a real quality opposition. Because let's be honest, in 2023, the last series that James Harden won, the Sixers played the Nets. And Harden had some bad shooting games, but I overall thought he was good because he was creating tons of open shots for them. But the Nets, I mean, they weren't like with Mikal. They literally made the playoffs because Kyrie Irving and KD were like on a heater before they wanted out. So like the last team I think that he played that was pretty damn good was 29 in the first round was 2019 Jazz. And even then, they were very favored. So this is a series where there's going to be a lot of eyes on Harden, and it's not going to be your typical like first round where he's expected to win. James Harden usually has home court advantage in the first round. That's another thing. When was the last time James Harden didn't have home court advantage in a first round playoff series? You would have to go back to 2016. Wow. So this is going to feel like kind of like a second round series. This is not a first round quality series, in my opinion. This is going to be the marquee matchup of the first round. Denver Clippers. And if James Harden can really put Jokic in the pick and roll and cause issues, really outplay Jamal Murray, I think our chances are very strong. But there's going to be more to it. How can we guard Jokic? What are we going to deploy? All these different things. What about Westbrook? That will all be talked about this entire week. So stay tuned, ladies and gentlemen. We're in the playoffs. You can follow me on Twitter and Instagram at DimeDropperPod. Please check out my video on Dime Dropper for the instant reaction of everybody at the watch party, including myself and the fans, our series predictions. And of course, all week long, you're going to have Locked On Clippers content with the previewing of the series. We'll definitely be tapping in with the Locked On Nuggets trifecta of Matt Moore, Ryan Blackburn, and what's his name? Swipa, my man Swipa, the only one that I've actually collabed with on Dime Dropper, and I can't believe I forgot him. But anyway, he's the newest member of Locked On, so sorry, Swipa. But anyway, you know you're my guy. But anyway, not for the next couple of weeks because we got a score to settle. In 2006, we beat Denver. It wasn't even really a contest. In 2020, we blew a 3-1 lead. Who's going to win round 3? This is going to be epic. Lakers and Timberwolves is a great series. Milwaukee and Indiana, great rematch. New York, Detroit will be fun. Houston, Golden State. I hope it's Houston, Golden State. Memphis, OKC. That would be fun. But nothing is going to be like Clippers and Nuggets. It's always us because we're always in the 4-5 matchup. We always are involved in like the greatest series of the first round, and this one will be no different. It's going to be one for the ages, ladies and gentlemen. I'm just honored to be your host for this. What a season. It's been a crazy season. I'm going to have more to say. It's not done yet, but the age-old proverb continues. Go Clippers.